Every single week, Modrinf does something called featured projects, which is where they make an official collection on modrinf.com showing off some cool projects on the website. But today I saw one in particular that really drew my attention. So much so that I've decided to show it off myself here on the channel as well. It is named Live Texture Editor. And like the name might suggest, it is a live in-game editor for resource packs. Let me show you what it's all about. Also, do make sure to double check if you're actually subbed to the channel. The vast majority of my daily viewers are still not, even though it will only take a literal second of your day and you would help me out so extremely much. So it is very easy to get started. First, you simply want to download the live texture editor directly from Modrinf. Of course, a link can be found in the description down below. Now, do keep in mind that as this project is still very new, it is currently only available for Fabric and Minecraft version 1.21.4 or 1.21.10/11. But if that's not a problem for you, you simply want to go ahead and click on download, then simply add it to your Fabric installation. In case you don't know how to set up a mod loader, I've made a separate video about that. Do for sure check it out. And after that's done, simply boot your game, then go to keybinds, and then map these 3 keybinds to whatever buttons you have available. After that, to enter the editing mode, by default you want to click on J. There we go, texture editor is now enabled. And after that, what you want to do is look at a block which you want to edit, for example this stone block over here, and then we want to open the block editor. By default it is R, I've mapped it to Z, so I'm gonna press on Z, the block editor is now open. Now something which is very interesting is that this is not the default stone block of Minecraft. This is in fact the stone block of one of the resource packs I'm using, Barebones. In other words, no matter what resource pack you're using, the one you have equipped, that is the one you're editing. To keep it simple, I'm simply gonna disable the resource pack for now. There we go, everything except for the UI is now disabled. And when we now do the same thing again, looking at the stone, clicking on Z, it opens up the block editor. Now this is basically like Photoshop, but then inside of Minecraft and specifically designed for pixel art. So we have a pencil at our disposal, we got a brush, an eraser, a fill, an eyedropper tool to get a certain color, and then a line tool. Here on the right side we can choose our color, and we can even use hex code. In other words, we can get whatever color we want. We're not just limited to the ones that show up here. And then here we got zooming, undo, and redo. Basically everything you need to make some pixel art. So something which we can do here, for example, is I'm just gonna grab a random color, you know, a nice pink will do, and then I'm gonna just make a little happy smiley, just like that. There we go. Doesn't that look great? Now after your art is done, what we can do is click on apply live here in the bottom left, which will then apply it, well, live. You can directly see the changes I've made, and we can now immediately determine together if we think this was a good move or not. I would say it was. Mojang should take notes. But okay, we edited a texture without leaving the game whatsoever. It is just done. That's it. Now let's say we find all of the grass blocks a bit too complicated. You know, so many pixels. And the wrong color too. We're just gonna look at grass, we're gonna press C, and then I'm gonna use the fill tool this time. And let's fill it all up with a beautiful, I don't know, this color looks kinda nice. There we go. That looks great. Now here in the bottom left, you can see that currently the face that we're looking at is up. That's important to keep in mind because we now edited the top layer. We've actually only changed one of many faces. You can cycle through all the faces available. For this grass block we have up, north, south, west, east, and then down, which is the bottom of the block. But when we now go back to up, you can see that the color is again gone. This is a little quirk of the mod, if you could even call it that. You have to apply or save your changes every single time you edit something. So I can make this face one color, then we will press on apply live. Just like that. Then we're gonna go to the next face and we're gonna do the same thing here. You can see that all of the other faces are now already edited. You may wonder why. Well, because grass blocks use a singular texture for every single one of its sides. So in reality, we're only editing 3 textures. The top, the bottom, and then the side texture. Now we're gonna cycle until we are at down. There we go. That's the last texture we need to change. Let's make it a different color for good measure. Just like that. Apply live. And when we now exit with this menu, you can see that we made something beautiful. This world is so extremely cursed. And when we do not look at a specific block while pressing the edit button, so we don't look at a tree or at the ground, we just look into the sky, then it will open a menu with every single block in the game. Over here, we can simply look for whatever block, item, mob, GUI, or sky we want to edit. So if we want the sun to be different, if we want the sun to be a big smiley as well, we can totally do that. Save life. All right. That looks great. Maybe I should make it another color. Maybe I should make it black. There we go. That might be better. Big smile. This one's very happy. Oh, it's... Oh, this one might hunt your nightmares. I'm not sure. No, but this is really cool. You can edit the sun. You can edit the full moon as well. And of course, all of its different phases. The end sky you can also modify, but also GUI. So I can directly hop into, for example, the hotbar GUI. This is of course not the vanilla hotbar, but the hotbar from Unique Dark, which is the texture pack that I'm using. And this one we can also completely modify in the same way. So whatever we want to do, whatever we want to draw to make it more beautiful, I think you can tell I'm a great artist. But yeah, there we go. It has now been modified. It now looks even better than before. Such an easy to use mod. And after you're done creating whatever masterpiece you've been cooking up, we can simply open the editor menu again. Here you can, by the way, see every single block that we have modified. So everything that has a little border here in this list, that means it is a modified block. When we hover it, it will also say modified. That means it was actively edited here in game. And if we now want to export all of these modified blocks, we can totally do that by clicking on export. We can enter a name, we can enter a description, an author. So subscribe, for example, because I would appreciate it a lot if you did. And then we can even draw an icon. There we go. Icon done. Then we click on export. And as soon as we've pressed the export button, something which we can do is go to options and resource packs, and you will see the resource pack immediately appears in the list. So it exports to your resource pack folder, which means we can now easily share this beautiful texture pack we've made to our friends, so they can also enjoy our art. So you can see that currently when I look at grass and I press the edit button again, as soon as I click on reset all, it will in fact not reset anything. Well, because it is reset now. This is the default pack. And we can now modify it again from here on out if that is something which we want to do. I should stop drawing just altogether. The last cool feature that's definitely worth showing off is the resource pack hide feature. So let's say you're actively editing a world. You're just going around in Minecraft, every single block that you feel like needs a change, you just change it up immediately, but at some point you may have lost track on what you've actually edited, what still needs to be edited, and also just in general what the game looks like by default. Well, if you press and hold X, once again by default, then it will hide every single one of your edits. In other words, it shows the world as it is by default. It is like this by default because I have this pack enabled. To show it off to you better, I just edited the grass block to show this a singular color. You can see I don't have any resource pack that changes up the blocks altogether. And when I now press and hold X, you can see that it all disappears. This is what the resource pack looks like by default, and then this is my edited version. So I would say absolutely banger mod. Very cool stuff. Very impressed as well. Modrinf did a good job officially featuring this one. I totally understand why they did, and I would highly recommend checking it out for yourself if you're interested. Link can of course be found in the description down below. And with that being said, that's gonna be it for today. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel, join my Discord. Thank you so much, channel members. And then I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. See you later. Bye bye.